All right. Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Phase 1 Elite Student Athlete Podcast. My special guest today is Big Curb. I call him Caden Kirby from Green Valley, man.
Yes.
One of the baseball players. Cade,
Yes.
man, thanks, man, for coming by. How you
Thanks
doing?
for having me. I'm doing pretty good.
Doing good. So go ahead and introduce yourself, give us a little bit about you, and then we're going to dive down into it.
I'm Caden Kirby. I'm a junior at Green Valley. I was actually in Phase 1 Sports Academy my 8th grade year, which was the COVID year, and I benefited a lot from it.
Good stuff. So let's dive down into that. You talked about the academy. So when you came to the academy, it was the COVID year and everything. What do you think, coming from regular school and transitioning into the actual academy like that, what do you think one of your struggles was adjusting to that, seeing that the year was just cut off and then you guys had to go immediately to online and you winded up experiencing the academy?
So, what was my biggest, benefit from it?
No, the struggle.
The struggle?
The transition.
The struggle, there wasn't as many kids. That was definitely one. We only had, 20 kids?
Yeah.
So the social aspect of it, but surrounding myself with kids that wanted to get better was pretty good.
Good stuff. Okay, and then now that, so you started, just to set a little groundwork, I don't know if you guys know, his father used to play baseball. Tell us a little something about Dad.
Dad, he was drafted by the Dodgers back in the day. I'm not too sure of the year, but he played professional baseball. He made it all the way up to the major leagues for a few years, and now he's just here helping me out. He's still coaching. He was with the Mets last year.
Good, and that's Wayne Kirby. That's his dad. Real cool guy. I've met him, talked with him a couple of times. Really technical and detailed when it comes to playing baseball and stuff like that. So,
Yes.
Kirby, let's talk about your journey. Let's look at your journey. When you started baseball, aside from your dad, playing baseball, what sparked your interest for baseball?
Well, I was definitely just around it the entire time, so I had no other choice. I did play basketball, and I just didn't love it as much, probably because of the running, to be honest. Going back and forth, it was not for me. Not back how I was when I was younger.
Well, let me say this. When I met Caden, he was about this tall and about this wide. Now he's about this tall and he's about this wide.
Yeah.
So he's really grown up. He was one of, the kids, very respectful kid. Always had something positive to say, what I'm saying? Very communicative about struggles or anything he was having. So that was, one of the good things, about having him being part of the sports academy. Let me ask you, aside from being around baseball so much and then experiencing basketball, do you think your love for baseball just came because you was around it so much and just saw it and was actually at the level your dad played?
Yeah.
You kind of had a back toward the inside.
Yeah, so that definitely sparked my interest. I mean, and he could honestly help me out the most in that because he played it.
Right.
So it wasn't like him trying to teach me basketball where he didn't do it as much, even though really he had, in high school, he was committed for football.
Really?
Yeah, he was committed for football, but he got drafted into baseball and he went with that.
Wow.
So for me, the inside edge of him being able to teach me the highest way was probably the best option for me.
Oh, good stuff.
Yes.
So let me ask you this. As far as when did you notice or when did you decide in your mind and say, hey, you know what? I need to start training more. What did you see in your game or in your journey when you were playing or practicing that let you know as the athlete, hey, you know what, I have to do more than what I'm doing right now?
Yeah, so probably 8th grade was like, all right, I need to get going. I'm about to go into high school. That's when the big skill factor goes in. And luckily I was with you guys, so we were training 5 days a week for 9 months?
9 months.
Yeah, so that was biggest, all right, here we go, time to get going. Got no choice now.
Okay, now that you're transitioned out of the academy and now you're in high school, you're in 11th grade, what keeps you motivated to train? Because my experience in dealing with, a lot of the young athletes and dealing with it, just to get on, the field,
Right.
And get some kind of time, you have to be training outside of what the school is doing.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Big time.
So what pushes you or what keeps you motivated mentally when you just I don't feel like doing this.
The end
How
goal.
do you push yourself?
The end goal, seeing how like the highest level, I see like the inside of what it takes, and honestly, you have to go when you don't feel good.
Really?
And sometimes like I don't want to do it, or sometimes I want to go out, but you got to do it for your end goal. I mean, miss out on times now, but at the end, once you make it, you're good.
Good. Okay. Good. Okay. So let's dive in a little bit about off season. Okay. So previously off season training, when I know you travel with Dad a lot during the off season, when did you start dialing in on the training off season, and how valuable or how important do you think that is for a young athlete?
So off season training is pretty big. Like for me, it's during the summer with my dad, because by the time I get back to school, it's baseball from here till the end of school year. So off season, I pretty much get my running in, and I train like lift 3 days a week. Not too much heavy stuff, just like keeping my muscles there. But that's like getting in shape for me, so I'm not like winded when I come back.
Right.
So I'm already up to the game with them.
Good.
That was the biggest part.
Right. Okay. So let me ask you this: when in training, okay, let's talk about training for a minute here, because that is the most grueling part of this.
Yes.
Basically, trying to push your body. You know what I'm saying? When you just don't want to do it. So, as far as the quality of training versus the quantity of training,
right?
You know what I'm saying? So, where you train at, what you're doing, how in your path, with your dad, how important or how influential was having your dad being sports specific training,
right?
Or just like regular speed and agility, quickness and stuff like that?
So the sports specific training, one thing I learned like on the baseball side is you don't need to like put 300 pounds behind your back. Like that won't do you any good, because we're not trying to get super strong. You want to be able to stay on the field for the most part. So for me, I was doing more split squats and goblet squats. So weight in front of me, but I still build the muscle in my quads like you would on a normal squat. So that was pretty big for me in learning. Then starting to do more like agility stuff, like side to side movements, rotational, instead of like your generic, all right, we're going Russian twist or something. So that was the biggest part for me also.
Oh, good. Okay. So so at what point with your training, when did you start taking that serious? Like, okay, I'm going to take it serious. And then you left the academy in 8th grade, and then you went to the 9th grade. From your 9th to 10th grade, and then from your 10th to 11th grade, okay? When you look at that training process, what do you feel? How did you identify, or what did you say, okay, this is what I need to get better at. This is how I'm going to do it. And then next, this is what I'm going to do next. How did you, set the path for your training to get to where you are? Because I had the opportunity just a couple of weekends ago to really come see you play.
Yes.
And I tell you, man, I mean, I never saw this kid.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? In the academy, I'm like, man, this dude is smacking every ball. I mean, and us, I'm like, okay, who is this? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So there had to be some type of regimen or something that you set up to where you self-evaluated yourself.
Yeah.
So tell me about how you self-evaluate yourself and then devise a plan to get better where you see you need to work.
So for me, for baseball, it was like more of like my weight side of it. And because when you're a little bit bigger, you're not going to be as fast, explosive and all this. Like, you're going to be stronger, mass moves mass. But for me, when I was like 190-ish, I was like, man, like I'm a little bit sluggish right now. So I dropped some weight, kept the muscle, and I started genuinely moving better. I got my 60 time down to a 6'8", 6'9", and I maintained my strength in my lower body, and I was building strength in my upper body, because I've always had it, but it wasn't like there.
Right.
So that I mainly was focusing on upper body, started to get stronger up there, because I already knew my lower body was strong.
Right.
So that was like the biggest part while losing weight too.
Really?
That was big for me.
Good. Now, what did you do? Did you like go on like a strict diet, or what did you do for like the weight loss?
So I pretty much just like, I stopped eating till I was full. Like normally you eat till like you're completely full. Like you'll start going back to second.
Oh, man, food, man.
Yeah, I know. I know it's a little bit rough, but like during the time, I didn't even mean to like lose it or anything. it just started to drop, and I was like, all right, it's probably because I wasn't eating till I was like completely full, because that's how you start gaining weight a lot.
Right.
So I was like, all right, that was good for food today. I'm done with that. And then while working out too, you just start dropping it.
Okay, good. Let me ask you this. What do you see your improvement in the last year from your 9th to 10th grade year?
Okay.
And then from your 10th to 11th grade year, where do you see your improvement from that 10th to 11th grade? Because I'm telling you, man, when I came out there, you guys, I went out there, I watched him play, and I kid you not, I was totally impressed by what I saw out there. I'm going to be posting some videos of him, you know what I'm saying? The kid, he has it, you know what I'm saying? And I want him to be able to, you know, give back to some of the younger athletes that's coming up the benefits of the sports academy here at P1 Elite. Also training, you know, in general, if you don't train here, how important it is to your goal when you're on your path to do what you do. So tell me about, where do you feel your improvement was from season to season?
So my 9th grade year, like I was still younger. I was like 15, I think. So I was still like pretty much a kid, and I haven't fully like matured yet. My sophomore year, I lost the weight, got stronger, and I definitely felt more mature. Now this year I'm about to turn 17, and I'm definitely like becoming a man more, like carrying myself better. That was the biggest thing. Definitely mental side. That this year for me is like the biggest, like mentally, because you're gonna go through ups and downs now, and definitely with like the recruiting side, like got to keep all of that in check.
Right. Now you said mental. Let's talk about mental, because we hear a lot about that. You know, there was this big thing with the gymnastics, how mentally abusive it was, and some of the athletes after they come out of the NFL, they deal with these, you know, mental things. So you touched on mental. Now touch on that a little bit more. Like, what things did you struggle with mentally, and then what did you do to maintain them and still be able to compete at the level that you compete at?
Right. So for baseball, like I can relate to it. You can fail. It's a game of failure, really. So you fail 7 out of 10 times, you're still great. That was a hard part for me. Like, I like being successful.
Right.
And knowing that you can fail 70% of the time, like that's rough on you. But you just got to keep looking at the positive, really. Like, boom, I went 1 for 3 this game. So that's good. You're still hitting 300, which is legit.
What?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, 1 for, it sounds weird, but.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah.
You have 4 bats.
Yes.
And you hit 1 time.
That would be 250. So, yeah.
And you're still good?
You're all right there. If you go, so like if you go over like 2 games and you're like 2 for 6, so 1 for 3 each game, that's legit. So you can fail 4 times and you're still considered good, and that's still a hard part for me, because like the game you came to, I was like, man, I could have done a little better. But I was like, gotta look at the positive, still hitting 300.
Right.
So that's definitely the hardest side, especially knowing you can fail more than you succeed.
So what do you do, like in a game? Okay,
Yes.
Let's say that game, because I did notice. I saw you when you was walking to the dugout. I was like, oh, okay, he upset. He not happy about that. So in something like that, because when you're a younger athlete,
Yes.
that's what tends to get you and break you down. So how did you deal? Let's talk about that one game. How did you deal with that? Because you knew I was going to be there.
Yeah.
You know, I probably was sure you wanted to smack one out the park. Yeah, you know, but all of that didn't happen.
Right.
So at the moment you made that mistake and you was walking back upset with yourself, what did you tell yourself because you went back right out there and I didn't see no error. I think 2 plays after that, something came your way.
Yeah.
So tell me about how you pushed yourself and just was like, okay, how did you put that behind you? What did you do, or how did you communicate with yourself?
Yeah, so I know, because where I bat in the lineup, I'll know I was going to get another spot, especially because where we were in the game, we were like early often. So I was like, I'll get another at bat. I can always just stick to my fundamentals. And doing that, I couldn't take that out to the field, because then you take that out to the field, make an error mentally.
Right.
Start to lose your team right there. But you just got to stay mentally strong. You can't do anything about your last at-bat, to be honest. Right. So you just got to benefit from the last at-bat to your first at-bat.
Good. That's good. Good stuff. So let me ask you, I want to ask you another question. What can you say about the seat of association? the people you hang out with and the people you do things with, how does that affect you as a student, and how does it affect you as an athlete?
So definitely the people you hang out with is big. Like for me, I stopped like going. Mostly hang out with kids that are like goal, like driven. Mm-hmm. So some of the kids like not in sports, kind of left them back. Wasn't gonna like surround myself with those types of kids because genuinely you want to better yourself. Right. Which is why, and I kind of learned that from the academy. Like I was more focused on it because you're trying to compete with, like for me playing baseball, I was trying to get my speed up with a running back. Mm-hmm. So that was definitely like, all right, he's going to push me and he's not going to make me get in trouble outside of here too.
Right.
So definitely people knowing what your goals are and what their goals are also, that's big.
Okay, now and that, so how do you deal with, let's say like some of the friends you had to leave, how do you deal with the repercussions from them? Because some of them friends will take an attitude as, oh, he thinks he's better than me or he thinks he's this. So how do you deal with that and still maintain the student athlete, position that you have to continue to progress?
Honestly, like that is the hardest part because they're going to hold a grudge on you. Like, oh, he thinks he's better than me. But really, you can't let that affect you because you still have your end goal you're trying to go to, college, professional. You can't let one person, two people affect how you are going to be forward. You can't hold on to them, pretty much.
Right.
And that's hard, really. But
especially nowadays with so much social media and all that stuff. And another thing, how do you... Well, I kind of just found out how you deal with social media. You'll cut it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You'll just cut it. What pushes you to do that? Because, as you know, everything is done through social media now. You know what I'm saying? And especially, there's so much stuff on social media that's not even real. You know what I'm saying? And these young people are getting on social media and thinking the stuff they see on social media, they can actually do in real life. And some of it, over what, 60, 70% of it
fake.
Is staged.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So how do you deal with like the social media time? Because one, a lot of recruiting now is done through social media, posting and getting information out there, friendships and communication and all your friends. So how do you deal or how do you manage your social media exposure and social media time?
So for me, I had to cut it because I was on it way too much. And so I was like, all right, got to drop this. And another reason, you'll get wrapped around when you see like other kids like start to commit to this college, and this college. You're like, oh, I know I'm just as good as them. Like, why am I not doing it? Kind of gets that wrapped in your head and it starts to make you feel down on yourself a little bit. So I was like, all right, I got to cut myself off. Like, my time will come when it comes.
Right.
Like, you can't rush it. So I was like, let's get that out of my head right now.
Right. So how many offers do you have right now?
Right now, one. I have one right now. But
you still have another year.
I still have this season and next season.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Good. Now the one, have you been putting yourself out there, or anybody helping you with recruiting, or how does that look? I know you went to Reno just recently.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So Reno's fun, and it was pretty cool to see. A little bit cold, but you can't complain about that. For the getting myself out there, they actually saw me in the one tournament I did this summer, and I didn't even that was like my first tournament of the summer, so I wasn't in like tip-top shape, but they saw like progression, like you can continue to get better. Right. And honestly, I just got in contact with them right away, and my coaches definitely helped too, like keeping them, like getting coaches to come out and talking to them for me.
Okay, good. So that trip to Reno, how would you rate that experience, just being able to go and visit a college?
Right. Probably, honestly, a 10 out of 10. Because when I went, it wasn't like a homecoming weekend or anything like that. So you actually got to see how the school ran on like a normal school day. Not, boom, we have 50,000 people here right now for one event. Right. It was like an actual school day, an actual practice day. See how things were running. Right.
Okay. Good. So let me ask you this. What's the immediate next season? What are we looking to accomplish this coming season? Because I think you guys' season is about to end, right? Or this tournament you guys are in?
Yeah, so fall will end in about November-ish, like start of December. And then high school season will start up in like February, March.
Okay. So what are we looking to do February, March to stand out? Because we got to start taking into consideration people going to need to start looking at you.
Right.
You know, so what are our goals, or what have you set your goals to be for that season?
So last year I did pretty good. I was first team All-State last year as a sophomore. So this next season I want to either repeat that or do better, like better my stats. Like obviously I want to do, if worst I do, like at least what I did last year, or better myself.
Right. So and when you say better yourself in your stats,
right?
I guess you're assuming. I'm assuming you're referring to like hits and getting on base and things. Let's talk about this stealing bases, dude.
Yeah.
This right here, I had TJ from your team on here.
TJ,
You guys, man, what is this? How do you guys? And this is just, what you guys do?
Yeah.
So talk about this stealing bases, because I understand from first to second, there's a good chance you'll get that because of the throw.
Right.
The distance. But from second to third, the throw. How do you guys, what are you guys are looking at to say, or are you guys just relying on your speed and your talent to get you there?
So for me, I know I'm fast now. Back in the day, I wasn't. Now
so you wouldn't have tried it?
No, I wouldn't have tried it back then. No, I've tried it back. I know I'm quick now, and for me, I get like a walking lead almost. Mm-hmm. So by the time the pitcher lifts his leg up and he's not going towards me, I can take that off because I'm already going to be about 15, 25 feet off. So that is now only 70 feet I got to run, and I can get there quicker.
So let me ask you, baseball is about footage then? Because
inches,
really, it's about inches and footage, really?
Yes,
wow.
It is. So if I can get off as far as I can, like without the pitcher worrying, I can go like how you saw me and TJ going. I was able to go second to third due to the fact that he had a high leg kick, ball takes more time.
And so all of that goes into your calculation. So when you're standing on that bag, determining you're watching this pitcher, or are you watching him from the dugout?
No, I'm watching the pitcher.
You're watching
the pitcher.
But are you watching him while you're in the dugout, or just when you get out there, you go out there with a plan, or when you're on the bag, you're really, really dialed in?
I'll see him like the inning before, see what he's doing with the guy on second, see if he has any tendencies. But sometimes I don't get the chance to do that. I'm the first one on.
Right.
So I'll see a pitch or so, see what he does, and then I can make a decision. But you can't hesitate on it at all.
You have to go.
You got to go.
If you step out there, go.
Yes.
That hesitation?
Yeah, I can't do it. I can't do it. That actually happened to me on Sunday. I was at second. There was a guy on third, and pitcher was going. I was getting big, and pitcher threw a ball in the dirt. So the first guy scored. But I went from second to home on that same one. But if I hesitated, I would have been out. So I just went.
So you just rounded third,
kept going. I knew catcher was jogging it. So I was like, all right, my speed can make up for this. So I took home. We went up 3 runs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really? Good stuff.
Just can't hesitate.
Man, good stuff.
Can't hesitate.
Good stuff. So one last question, or one last thing I want you to do is give some of these young athletes, something that they can take from this podcast and apply it to where they're going, and basically use something from here to apply to their journey.
Yeah, definitely think about the positives. It's so easy to wrap yourself around the negatives because, especially if you're in baseball, that's the majority of what it is. You got to stay positive because the second you start getting down yourself, you're just going to keep going down, and you're not going to be able to dig yourself out of that hole. So that's pretty much the hardest part. Because sometimes, like slumps for baseball, they're not all physical. It's not like your swing or anything. It is mental, like, oh my gosh, I'm not hitting the ball right now. And you just keep bringing yourself down. So that's the biggest part. Stay positive if you can.
Good stuff. Hey, good stuff. That's Caden Kirby. Stop by to help us, and get us this episode out. Go ahead and give them your IG so they can follow you.
Caden Kirby 13 on Instagram.
Hey, Caden, man, thank you so much for stopping by, man.
Yes,
we appreciate you. Look forward to seeing you out there, and we look forward to seeing you on the next podcast.
Yes, sir.
Hey, dial in and check us out. Be ready for our next episode.
Yes, sir.